Good morning. The Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Saturday, September 7th. This is meteorologist Basil Numerzitsky. Today we are looking at minimal impacts here, primarily across the Sierra front. There'll be some gusty winds popping up later this afternoon. Humidity levels will approach critical conditions, and fuels there still critically dry. But a big change coming up Sunday into Monday, a strong cold front pushing down with showers, much cooler temperatures, cooling down 20 or 30 degrees from what we were earlier in the week. However, there is the dry side of the front further south. This is where we expect a critical combination of winds and low humidity across southern portions of Nevada, Utah, and the Arizona Strip as we get into Sunday and Monday, and those are areas that have ongoing fires, so that is a concern. Over the past 24 hours, again, a plethora of lightning here on the right-hand side, but a lot of this came with wetness. Some isolated dry strikes mixed in with the wet as you head further and further south. You can see the precipitation key on the left-hand side. Fire activity, new fire starts in the red, existing recent fires in the yellow, so still a lot of activity. Open circles indicate large fires, and we have several here on the map. In terms of precipitation, over the past 7 days, we've had some light to locally moderate precipitation. Bigger shot coming in over this weekend, but you can see the first shade of blue, a couple 107 inches. It's only the second shade of blue that indicates a wetting rain, and those areas are fewer and far between. Concentrated more in our southern areas right now. In terms of percent of normal, areas in the brick red still 0 to 10% of normal. But areas where we see the yellow to green and blue shadings, those are areas that did receive significant wetting rains in the past 7 days. A look at current fuel conditions, ERCs on the downward trend, lots of green and yellow on the map across Idaho and into Wyoming. The transition zone is across central areas of Utah. Those conditions are still dry, especially across eastern Utah. Be a concern with some of the winds over the next few days. Look at 10-hour fuel moisture expected for this afternoon. Areas in the pink, 5 to 6%. Areas in the shade of red, a few pin drops here, are critically dry at 3 to 4%. So in the grasses and the breezes, things can still burn, but we definitely are slowly moistening things up, especially areas further north. Satellite imagery. High pressure ridge over us is giving way to a typical early winter type trough of low pressure. You can see the clouds over northern California and Oregon. This will expand and cause widespread precipitation across Idaho, western Wyoming, and the northern portions of Nevada and Utah over this weekend. Drier further south, that's the key for some of our fire weather concerns. So for today, there's that trough of low pressure coming in, very well defined. Initially on the drier side here, moisture will be slow to come in, so we still have some critically dry fuel conditions, especially in our southern and eastern areas, but quite moist to the north. In terms of winds, we do have some gusty winds here in the Sierra front, gusts near 30 miles per hour, humidity levels near 20%. More critically dry in the mid-teens as you head further to the east, low teens across southern areas, but much higher humidity in our north. Also lighter winds as you head further north as well. Now for Sunday, strong trough of low pressure coming in with moisture here across northern Utah, and some of this moisture can actually sag a bit further south, a deeper low following in its wings, but we see drier air across southern areas, tighter height packings through here. For that reason, we have high risk for wind across a good portion of southern Utah and the Arizona Strip, again where there are several fires, one or two large ones currently ongoing. We'll see humidity levels down there in the mid-teens. These winds in these orange to purple shades could be gusting to 35 to even 40 miles per hour, and only slightly less across parts of Nevada. So a breezy day to locally windy all around, and strong winds up here in Idaho, but those will come with humidity levels of 50% or higher, as well as precipitation. On Monday, we have high risk still for wind along the southern central Nevada-Utah border. Trough of low pressure still there, and there's a drier tongue of air through here, but there'll be moisture just to the north with higher humidity. And another round of precipitation for northern areas. You can see that relative humidity change from the single digits to low teens across southern Nevada, southern Utah, all of a sudden getting to about 25 to 35% and higher as you head further north. But it's in this belt of winds here in the southern, still somewhat drier edge of the front where we have ongoing large fires, where these winds, along with low humidity and dry fuels, will be an issue. 3-day precipitation totals of southern areas stay dry. It's from northern Utah on into northern Nevada and into Idaho and Wyoming that things get progressively wetter. The areas in blue, a ½ inch to locally an inch. So for some of these areas up here, if this occurs over the weekend, that could start spelling out prescribed burn season in those areas for sure. On Tuesday, if that's not enough, an even wetter system arrives. Deep low pressure through here. There could be some snow on the peaks. Everything stays green through there, and that system lingers on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, we had high pressure building in, but another front sweeping through into Idaho and maybe western Wyoming by the end of next week, but drier air still across the south. So it's southern Nevada, southern Utah, the Arizona Strip, which will probably maintain the focus for fire conditions as we head into next week. 7-day precipitation totals quite hefty along the Idaho border of Nevada and Utah, ½ inch to locally an inch. Some of these purple shades here locally, western Wyoming and the higher terrain of Idaho, could be an 1.5 inch or higher amounts, which if that occurred at this time of year, that usually signifies season-ending event for some of those forests up in central Idaho. So keep an eye on that. The 8 to 14 day, though, shows that we expect much warmer, much drier conditions to return. So for areas that don't get those strong wetting rains, southern areas, still on in terms of fire season, not over just yet. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.